Hello, my name is Abigail, and welcome to or back to Polyglot Progress. Staying consistent is both one of the most important and most difficult parts of learning a language. And sometimes life gets in the way, and whether we want to or not, we have to take a step back from language learning. And while that is totally okay, and sometimes taking a break is actually the best thing you can do for yourself in your language learning, I've also found that coming back to my language studies after a bad day, week, month, or year can be especially challenging. So since I just came back to language learning after a bit of a rough patch in my life, now feels like the perfect time to talk about the things I do to come back to language learning and the ways I set myself up for success moving forward after a difficult period. The absolute first thing you need to do when you're coming back to language learning after taking a break is to let go of any negative emotions you might be feeling about the fact that you took a break. Stop beating yourself up for all of the things that you didn't do while you were away, and recognize that if it was a longer break and you're feeling a little bit rusty, that is totally fine. I struggle a lot with perfectionism, and it's really easy for me to get caught up in thinking about where I could have been if I hadn't taken a break, or to feel upset that I'm not in the same place I was before I took a step back. But getting caught up in all those negative thoughts ultimately just holds you back from getting back into your routine and getting your comfortability and confidence back. Plus, just having this simple shift in your mindset will make the whole process a lot healthier and happier, which is something that you deserve, especially when you've been dealing with difficult times in your life. In my experience, one of the hardest parts of rebuilding consistency after a break, and especially after a break driven by hard times, is just doing it because it's no longer a habit. And one thing that I've found really helps with staying consistent while I am rebuilding that habit is setting up a schedule and making sure that I have dedicated time where I'll be in contact with my target language. And this could mean a lot of different things. This could mean setting aside a time each day when you're going to read in your target language, planning out the topics you're going to study week to week, or my personal favorite, booking calls with a tutor. I've mentioned in so many videos now that I love scheduling out lessons with a tutor as a way to structure my learning. And I feel like having lessons with a tutor who can help hold me accountable and just help me get back on track is exactly what I need when I come back from a break. So one thing that I did recently to help myself get back into French is I booked weekly lessons with a tutor using a lesson package that I bought on italki, who is also the sponsor of today's video. If you're not already familiar with them, italki is a platform where you can take customized one-on-one language lessons with over 30,000 tutors and certified native speaking teachers worldwide. And because you can take lessons at any time from anywhere, and the lessons are priced individually from $5 instead of as a subscription plan, it's really, really easy to create your own schedule to get you back on track while also balancing other commitments you have going on in your life and not overwhelming yourself. Prior to taking a step back from language learning this past year to deal with some stuff in my personal life, I was taking public speaking lessons in French with Philippe.
Construire un argumentaire, c'est une tâche qui est extrêmement vaste. Il y a beaucoup de composantes.
C'est juste intéressant parce que ça c'est très différent ou peut-être juste un peu différent que les autres vidéos.
So when it was time for me to come back to the language, the first thing that I did was I booked out weekly lessons with him for more than a month. And the great thing about these lessons for me is that not only am I reestablishing a routine with French and getting back into the habit of using it, but I'm also returning to something that I was doing before the break and rebuilding that habit. If you're looking to improve your listening or speaking skills and you want to give italki a shot, whether you're coming back from a break or you just want to try another resource, you can use the code PROGRESS, and the first 50 new users to use the code will get $5 of credit free when you spend $10 or more. And I'll also have a link to that in the description. All of the benefits of scheduling lessons said, don't let your schedule turn into something restrictive. Incorporating things you enjoy into your routine is always really important when it comes to keeping your motivation and interest in your target language up. But when you're coming back to a language after time away, this is more important than ever. While using a schedule to get yourself back into a routine is really great, it means nothing if you immediately burn yourself out. So whether it's through doing activities you enjoy, talking to your tutor about subjects that you're interested in, or just trying out new methods that you think sound fun, just make sure you keep the process enjoyable, especially in those early stages of coming back. And with that, don't overwhelm yourself. If you've been away from the language for a little while, then it absolutely makes sense that you'll have forgotten things or just won't have as much stamina to do things in your target language as you might have before. Don't feel like you have to dive in and make up for all of the time that you were away in as short of a time as possible. Just start with what feels manageable and then go from there. This will make it so much easier to build habits than if you just go 0 to 100 and have to put studying back down again because it feels like it's too much. And with that, if you do feel like you've forgotten things, don't feel like you have to push through to new material and go to the next chapter in your textbook or dive into new things with your tutor when you don't remember the words and phrases you were using previously. In fact, regardless of where you're at, I honestly really recommend having a review session. This is a great way to ease back into your language studies because it starts you off small, making it a lot less overwhelming than just diving into a new topic or trying to figure out what to learn next. It refreshes your knowledge knowledge of the language and gets you back on track if you did forget anything. And it helps you to build up your confidence because it shows you how much you do remember and how much you're capable of doing in the language, which I feel like is really important because after a break, it is so easy to have low confidence in a language because you just haven't been using it. And if you are taking a break due to hardship, there's a chance that you're just feeling more vulnerable and a little bit less confident in general. Overall, highly recommend a review session. It doesn't have to be a long one. It could just be one study session, one quick little bit, but it really sets you up for success moving forward. And then lastly, remember to remind yourself why you started and why you want to get back into language learning. When times get tough, it can be really easy to lose motivation to work on the things that you care about, or to just have so much going on that you forget to focus on the things that make you excited to learn a new language. Rekindling your motivation beyond just knowing that you want to get back to language learning is going to help you stay dedicated in the long term and just make the process far more enjoyable and fulfilling. Again, this is often just a small mindset shift, but it has a huge impact on what it feels like and how successful you are with coming back to language learning after a break. And those are all my tips for coming back to language learning after a bad day, week, month, year, whatever it may be for you. I know this is a pretty specific situation, but I also think that it's a very common one and most language learners will experience it at some point. It's also something that I personally have struggled with a lot previously, but something that I also feel like I now have found the answers to overcoming. And I hope that this video offers some advice that can help any of you who are maybe currently in this position or just may find yourself in it in the future. If you feel like there's any tips that I missed, definitely leave them down below in the comments. And I'll also have that italki link down in the description so the first 50 new users who use it can get $5 in free credits. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, practice makes progress.